Okay, welcome to this week's episode. This week will actually be the first episode where we finally have a cover and a name for the podcast. Maybe we'll reveal it during this episode. Maybe we'll keep it as a cliffhanger, but that's something great. And yeah, today's topic is our favorite productivity tools, and we will talk about them, present them, and maybe have some questions for the ones the other one has chosen. Yeah.
Dude, do you even want to say hi or something? Do you want to? I don't know. Usually in like normal conversations, people first say hi, how are you, how you doing, what's up.
I mean, we talked for 3 hours today already, Nico. You know that. We said hi multiple times.
I still feel a little bit insulted, to be honest. So I'll be the one starting the question. How are you? Are you fine? Are you doing okay?
I am wonderful today. Yes, actually, for everyone, because you guys obviously didn't know, Nico is in our hometown currently, and we met today and like figured some stuff out. Got a name, got a cover picture or like an avatar picture for the podcast. Talked about the direction we want to take, and yeah, it was a nice talk. Was a nice walk. It was fun.
It was also a great start. We decided to take the cover picture today, and so since Konstantin has a cool camera, we decided like, sure, let's take that one. And so we met up, like we had like this long walk, and then we even had to call his girlfriend to take the picture.
Yeah.
So like 5 minutes before she arrives, he pulls out his camera just to check if like everything works fine. Then he realized, oh no, damn, battery is dead. Okay,
Whoa.
sure, no problem. I have a backup. No problem, dude. No problem. And then I just hear like, fuck. Oh yeah, the second battery is dead too.
Unlucky.
But well, since fortunately, since phone cameras aren't the worst nowadays, we decided to take our iPhone camera, and we took advantage of the fact that podcast logos are usually quite small.
Yeah, we abused it quite hard.
We hope that
we're hoping that no one downloads the picture.
Mediocre quality doesn't. Yeah, and that the mediocre quality doesn't show
impact any one of you guys. All right. Do you want to start with your favorite one, or do we just go random, or do you want me to start? What are you planning?
I feel like I don't want to go like from best to worst.
Yeah,
because
that's good.
Like my favorite tools, and just for some context, like these tools are usually productivity tools that we use either for in our case for uni, or if we tackle any kind of project, especially obviously when it comes to some kind of software project.
Exactly.
And or tools that help us sometimes even in our everyday life.
Yeah, everyday life. For example, like moving. I have something set up for like moving to a new apartment soon, and like stuff like that. Even like my list of watched movies and animes. Like we will get into that in depth later on. But yeah. So just generally, which tools do we use to organize ourselves in our daily lives and like academic life and job life, basically?
Yeah, I feel like that's a good explanation. I wouldn't since like my tools are quite different or like from each other, so there are huge differences, and they do not belong to the same category at all. I feel like I will just list them out randomly, and there's no real favorite, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Same for me. There will be no top. Like I will probably have one number one, and all the other ones are basically on the same level. That's for me.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we have the same number one.
Same, actually.
But
I don't think so, actually. I'm pretty sure we don't. But we'll figure it out.
Okay, if you say so, I'm actually pretty sure we don't either, because I think you do know my number one.
Yeah.
Especially because I've told you several times. But anyways, yeah, you can start. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I will leave my favorite tool for later, and I will start with just a must-have. I think everyone uses a to-do list. It's just so nice to have the tasks like out of your head, write them down somewhere, and organize your life that way. And I think that's a really, really basic tool to use. And obviously there are plenty, and I tried all of them. I tried Todoist. I tried so many of them. But at the end, I always come back to Things, which is kind of sad that it's only on Mac and iOS, but it's literally it's just the best to-do list app. It's so good. It's super easy. It's super minimalistic. It's wonderful to look at. It has everything you need. I'm not too finicky with my to-do lists. I don't go too in depth. Like, don't really use a methodology like GTD or something. Don't use a lot of text. I just have my inbox. I order them. I have projects. I have my daily chores as a repeating task. I have my like routines as a daily task. For example, stretch, do yoga, and shit. So they're reoccurring tasks. I organize that way. And in the morning, I always pull up my Things app and see which items I will drag from my inbox to my today or from a project to my today. Normally 2 to 3 tasks, except my daily chores. And that's it. Yeah, Things is just a wonderful application. Also, the Watch app is super, super, super nice.
Yeah. Okay. So like, if the information didn't come across yet, the tool we're talking about is Things.
Yeah.
THINGS.
I think even Things 3, right? They're currently it's the third version right now. I'm pretty sure.
There's no free version.
No, the third version, not free version. It's the third iteration of the version.
It's the third version. Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure you also use it, right?
Yeah. Okay. I had it on my number 2, but this is absolutely by far my favorite app ever. I so like one important thing for me has always been multi-platform. So any app or basically any app I have, I love it when I can use it both on my phone and on my computer.
Yeah.
And well, since I'm kind of an OCD person, I guess, and I need to organize my life all the time in any kind of way possible. Things is pretty much the best way to do so. I mean, in the end, it's just like some to-do app, to-do list app. But I think what's so appealing to me is the very, very minimalistic design.
Yeah, it's just
and
like
it's just
it just
so
looks
easy
gorgeous.
to use. It looks gorgeous, and in its simplicity, it looks fucking beautiful,
Yeah.
and it does everything I need it to do. And in fact, especially like one of the greatest features they have is that you can, give any task a date, and it will show up that date or like that day. And in fact, especially during my toughest week, or like not toughest weeks, during my most my busiest weeks, I love to, like, every Monday to kind of plan the whole week and create all the tasks for the week, everything where I know that I will have to do either for uni or for work. So I'll write it down, I'll make a list, and I'll spread it over the whole week. And so every day I don't really have to think about what I have to do. I just take a look at the today section, and so I take a look at all my to-dos for the day. So I know that I won't forget about anything, and I can just do one by one, or like one task after the other. And it's been a huge lifesaver. And I actually used like a few of the other features, like, for example, like create some projects. So like
projects are also so great.
Projects folder for for my uni classes.
Yeah, exactly. All exams are a project for me. That's how I use it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like something like I don't know. I have just a project called groceries, and I just add everything that's missing right now, and I even have it categorized by like where I have to buy that kind of stuff, because obviously you can buy certain things in a normal grocery store. And yeah, it's been a lifesaver. And even though, I mean, it's not cheap. I mean, the iPhone app costs, I think it's 11 euros, something like that. At least in Germany or in Europe, costs 11 euros, and the Mac version costs, I think, even 53 euros.
80.
And it might see it's.
I think it's 80.
Sorry,
$80, I think.
Oh, I paid 50 something.
Okay, well, I paid 80
at the time. I don't know. Maybe they increased it, but since then, but but it's like it might seem a lot, but I use the app literally every single day. And
like one more thing, if I can add that, the keybinds are so good. Like, I use it on my Mac, and you can literally bring up a new task in any other window, right? You can just press Option or like Control and Spacebar, and it will bring up this tab where you can type, You can set the date, the due date, and the project. It's just so effortless and really, really good. Like always when you're studying or you're doing something and you have an idea, I just open it up, type it down, and then it's out of my mind. It's just like gone because I wrote it down, right? It's so nice.
No. Yeah, it's funny because I didn't know that feature.
Yeah, some features are super hidden. Like, for example, the reoccurring tasks. That's my only like negative thing about it. Sometimes you need to search for what you want. The reoccurring tasks, there is no visual for that anywhere. You can only do it with a key shortcut, which is kind of odd to me, but like it's whatever. I think we should just go to the next task or the next tool. Or do you want to add something?
Yeah, no, there's nothing to add. I guess props to the developers.
Yeah,
They
wonderful
did
work.
an amazing job. I really love the app.
Yep.
It's been a lifesaver so far.
I agree.
Okay, since you started the last one, I'll start this one. I wouldn't really call it a tool itself. It's available on every single OS. I love it on Mac OS, but it doesn't matter where you use it. It's on Mac OS. It's called Text Edit. I'm not, I'm not gonna lie. The normal text editor, like it's my absolute go-to software when I just have to quickly write something down or like quickly make some notes, because it just goes so fast and it's so easy, and I don't want to edit anything. I don't want to change the font. I don't want to change nothing. I just want to have like some simple text, and it even though it might look a little bit ugly for others, it's just so simple to use, and it's so fast, and so text editor will always be one of my absolute go-to tools to write quick things down.
It's funny because I do something similar with the console. If you just like write it and kind of print it to a file, you basically also just have a text file. And I have a shortcut for my terminal, so I bring that up, write it, and pipe it to a file. Really similar. But yeah, nice. Actually, I haven't thought about that one, but it's actually a really good tool. That's true. It's like simplistic and it does what you need to. I also use it quite a lot. That's true, but I never thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, but everybody, especially, I don't know why, but like this is a thing that, in particular, people that code use a lot. Like everybody that codes that I know constantly uses text edit, or like any text editor. Like it doesn't matter what text editor, but it's because it's literally about like quickly writing something down, and there's so many like notes app. Like I don't even use I could use the actual notes app, for example, on my Mac. I don't do, yeah, but I don't like I prefer using the actual text editor. I maybe it's because it goes so fast, and especially nowadays, like the notes app has, I don't know, I feel like it's the notes app is more for slightly more not serious content,
structured and in-depth.
It's much more, exactly. It's much more structured.
The best example for text edit is like you need to write an algorithm at work or something really simple. You just pull out text edit, write some pseudocode, put it on the second screen, and then you write your code. That's how I use it often.
Okay, honestly, like the way I use it the most is when, for example, when I'm in a call with someone, and I need to like make some notes or whatever. So the best thing I can use, or my preferred to my go-to tool is always text edit, so that I can just quickly make myself some notes, and I just because there's nothing else I need to. I just need to quickly write it down, and I can still parse it later and go through all the notes and write it down in a better way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's my second tool.
Okay, now I will go on to my next one. I kind of feel like I need to kind of introduce it now in chronological order because all my other tools kind of feed into this tool. So the problem is it's a massive tool. It's a wonderful tool. The devs are incredible. And there's so much to talk about it. Like we could literally do a 5-hour podcast about that and we wouldn't even talk about half of it. But it's Obsidian Markdown. It's basically, few of you might use Notion before or Evernote or something like that. It's basically an organizing tool for your notes. The nice thing about it is it lives on your local file system. So you only write everything in Markdown notes and the program sits on top of it. And I chose that because, for example, if you have your notes on Notion, right? And Notion would ever go out of service, where are your notes? They're just gone. You can't, like, all your work from years possibly is just gone. So you have those in your local file system. I back them up with Git. I just have a Git repo for it. There are plugins. A lot of wonderful people use it. The community is super active. The devs are really great. Like, I suggested a feature in a channel, and they actually implemented it. They listen to your feedback, and it's wonderful. Like, I don't know how to, like, put it in like not too many words, but basically what you do is creating a second brain. So every file can be linked in a bilateral way. So you can link files to each other, and then it basically forms a net of thoughts. So the idea behind that is, if you are on, let's say, a project, right? You write a paper, you did your research. Now you don't know where to go next. You just open this map up, which is basically a map of all connected nodes, and you can see everything. And like every connections, like in a human brain. And I really use this tool a lot. Well, like, for example, I have an class or a lecture. I write all my notes down, then I distill them into like finer notes, connect them, create flashcards, connect them, and then I see a net forming of thoughts, and you can actually see which areas develop. And yeah, I use that for everything. I have my school in there, jobs, projects, my favorite movies, my series I watch, everything is in there, and it's just the best tool ever. Like, it literally changed the way I organize my things, and I even sometimes I think and study, and it's just so good. Like, everyone should try it at some point.
What's the feature you asked the developers to implement?
It was really small. It was the change of how one margin in a, like, basically the divider was. But I mean, they listen to it, and they listen to, like, the Discord channel is really big, and they listen to a lot. And a lot of the people also using it are in academia or like coders. So there are so many great like plugins. For example, one plugin, you can write all your flashcards in the app, and they automatically export to Anki, like, which is a flashcard program. And that's just a tool some guy wrote in Python. The community is just wonderful. Like, it's so good.
I mean, you've been telling me about
Yeah.
it's called Obsidian,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Obsidian.
Yeah, you've been telling me like about it nonstop, and I actually I think it's actually a pretty cool tool. Like, it sounds amazing. I've always wanted
Yeah.
to try it. I don't know why. I guess like when you kind of started like using your tools, and like you've kind of, let's
Yeah.
call it settled down or whatever.
Yeah. No.
You yeah, it's kind of tough for a stupid ass reason to change.
Yeah, but
But
also it has
the idea sounds amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, it has a really steep learning curve. That's the only bad thing about it, because it basically gives you no limitations, which also means it gives you no rules, and you need to set the rules yourself. And some people like that. For example, on my first day of Obsidian, I literally wrote kind of an API documentation for me. How are my folders named? How are my files named? Which means what? Which is my folder structure? How do I use what? I wrote down workflows and basically rules for my vault, because if you don't do that, there are no rules, you lose sight of everything. That's the tough part about it.
But wait, you said that it's on your local machine, but it's not
Yeah.
only locally, as far as I know. Like, I think that some of the stuff you even published, right?
Yeah, exactly. They have there are two, like, the tool itself is free, and then you can have a publish plan, which lets you basically publish your vault to a website, which is like $90 a year or something, and a sync plan, which is also $90 a year, where basically they do the backup for you. And recently, and then they also have supporter tiers where you can pay just to get another tier in the Discord to basically. I'm like, I think I have the supporter tier, which was like $100 or something, and then you can get the private betas. And right now they released a wonderful iOS private beta and also on Android, which makes the tool even better. That was the only thing missing, because before that, I just edited the Markdown files in a text editor on my phone, a different one. But right now with the app, it's so good. I don't even know. Like, I vouched it even to multiple people. Like, a good friend of mine is writing his bachelor thesis with it right now. Another friend is using it for another academia project, and all of them love it. So yeah, everyone should try it at some point. And don't get disencouraged, because the learning curve is quite steep, but you'll figure that out.
But what do you mean by learning curve? I mean, all you need to know is Markdown.
Yeah, but the thing is, it gives you no structure. So how do you link your thoughts? You really need to come up with an idea. What is a node? What is an atomic node, for example? When do you move something in your main folder? When is something in the academia folder? Like, how do you manage all your files in a way that is consistent and makes sense for you? You need to come up with those rules
Yeah.
yourself. Um, or you can get inspired by others. Obviously, other people use it, so you can just get inspired. But the tough part is literally there are no constraints, so you need to set the constraints yourself in a consistent way. That's why I think a lot of coders really love it, because we do that all the time, kind of. So
Y-
yeah,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Oh, that's really interesting though.
yeah.
Absolutely. Do they have like some kind of an API so that like, or like is it open source so that like other coders can, or like other
I'm
people
pretty sure.
can
Yeah, you can
like keep
contribute.
developing on?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can
You can
contribute.
contribute, yeah.
I don't know if the code itself is open source, but they work together with everyone can vouch ideas or like write plugins, and I'm pretty sure I would need to check that. We could maybe add it in the notes if it's open source, but I think we will link the tools anyways, all the tools, if someone wants to try them, in the description
Yeah,
or the
absolutely.
little thingy.
Again, text
So
text edit.
yeah,
You can find it. All you need to go is you have to go on apple.com, buy
Text.
yourself a MacBook or MacBook Pro or Macbook Air, does not matter,
or you get
and it will be in
or you get
and it will
any
be
other text
integrated.
editor.
Or any other. No. It has to be
Yeah.
text edit on a Mac.
Yep, that's the only way.
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, since like you've been, I'll keep going with the next tool.
Mhm.
I love using a lot. And since we're already at the, on the topic of writing down ideas, writing down
Mhm.
notes, and it's already been mentioned, my absolute go-to note app or program has been Evernote, and it has been for the past, I'd say, 4 years or something.
Mhm.
And I'm a huge fan of it. Basically, what you can do is like you can create several notebooks, and each notebook has like can have basically notebooks are, you can call them folders, and in each folder you have like all of your notes.
Mhm.
So I have several folders concerning like specific projects, or I don't know, one is about uni, one is about coding in general, one I just called other,
Mhm.
because it's like everything
Classic.
else. And yeah, and it's perfect because it's like it has the absolute basic functionalities that a notes app, or that a notes app should have, like setting up, let's call it a font or whatever, you size and change the coloring. What I like is that you can also add like code blocks.
Mhm.
Since like I obviously I create a lot of or like a lot of my notes are kind of code related,
Can you
or
export
like
to
some kind of.
Markdown? That's not work. Can you export files to Markdown? I'm just
Oh,
asking
that's a good.
because that could make your transition to Obsidian way easier.
Wait, let me check export node, but pretty, no, you can't.
Unlike.
I guess that like you could. It's not too hard to like write some kind of a plugin yourself
Yeah.
to do so, like to export everything into Markdown.
Pretty sure there is something
But
already.
yeah,
Also.
100%, 100%. But anyways, this has been a huge help for me, especially okay. For example, in particular when I work with some new framework, um, and so like what I do is that I write myself a little tutorial, and I always do it in Evernote. It's perfect for that, so that I will add like, I don't know, some lines of code in that code block, and then I'll write some text to it where I explain what this does, or like how you initialize a project. All of
Yep.
those basic things, and it doesn't even have to be related to code every time, but it's been pretty much a lifesaver for a lot of things. And it's, or like to write down ideas, or if if it's some kind of a more complex to do, it's perfect to like just write down everything that needs to be done. I always do it, for example, when I start my a new semester, and
Hmm.
I write down all of the classes I want to take. And since it's not always 100% sure that you will get into every class, and I'll write. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's what makes it so nice. It's just it's so clean, and obviously, again, same as for things, I can use it both on my Mac and on my iPhone. I use the free version, and it's, I think you can, with the free version you have two devices,
Hmm.
um, and it's perfect. So like when I don't know, I'm outside and I'm like just thinking of something, I can just write it down with Evernote, and it'll be synchronized on my Mac. It doesn't have like one specific functionality that's just stands out. It's just super easy to use.
Yeah.
It goes fast, and honestly, this is something I care about. It looks nice,
Yep.
and so plus like the color palette with green and gray is just like in dark mode version.
Yeah.
Actually, it's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I kind of I kind of used it for a little bit and then went to Notion. I don't know. I never got like I never happened to like it. I was like, I don't know why. Maybe it was bad back then, but something in me just didn't want to use it. It was not fun for me, and I think for all the tools, one of the most important aspects is that you like using it, because you don't actually happen to utilize it if you dislike opening the program. Like there,
Yeah, I should also say that the app itself, or the whole platform, improved a lot over the
yeah,
past 2 years.
yeah.
Like in particular, like design wise, they did a lot of improvements.
Hmm. Yeah, well,
So eventually, you worked on a an older version,
yeah,
which
it was
bothered
like
you.
4 or 5 years ago, so a
Yeah,
really long
okay, then
time.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at the time right now, and we're at 27 minutes. But I will still, I think we will do a little bit longer this time. It won't be too bad. I will go over my next ones a little bit faster. I think I will put them into one category and only mention one more, like because they basically just appear to be workflows for Obsidian. So one tool is Zotero, which is wonderful. You can basically, it's a tool to manage your papers, manage paper downloads and annotating them. Um, it's wonderful. You have them all in one place. You can obviously organize them in projects, folders, whatever. The good thing again is you do your notes on Zotero, you read through the thing, you highlight parts, you annotate them, and then you just basically export them to Markdown straight into Obsidian. And you can kind of do it with parsing, so you already have the format you want in Obsidian, and it's just wonderful. The next thing is Anki, which is basically just flashcards. It uses the algorithm to use spaced repetitioning, which is obviously probably familiar to everyone. The spaces between the repetitions obviously get bigger. So I use that to study everything I need to like know out of my mind. There's
Yeah, wait, I'm
again
sorry. I don't know. Wait, I don't. I've never heard of that. What space?
spaced repetitioning.
What's exactly space
The idea is
repetition? Could you explain that?
like if you learn something, you start forgetting it, right? And it's basically like a curve. It goes down. The longer away from the moment you learned it, the less you know it, right? And there's this concept that like if you learn it once again, the interval before it like decays basically gets longer every time. So what you do is the first time you learn something new, let's say vocab, you learn it again the next day. Afterwards, you learn it again. Like if you know it, you learn it again 5 days, then 14, then 20, and later on only you repeat it only months apart from each other. So that's basically the principle behind it, and it works really well for memorizing stuff. Yeah, I use Anki for that. There's a plugin for Obsidian. You write all your notes in Obsidian. In my lecture notes, I just annotate them. They immediately get automatically exported into Anki, and I use them. And the third thing is, it's called Mimix World
Oh, okay.
Brains.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like those workflows just make Anki make Obsidian so good. And the third thing is Mimix World Brains, which is basically a bookmark tool for the web. So whenever I see an article or anything on the web, you can favorite a little bit like Pocket. Maybe someone is familiar with that. You can favorite it to read it later, basically. And the wonderful thing with that tool is, again, You can annotate it on the website, on the fly. Yeah, like you don't need to open an extra program. You can highlight, annotate, and then export it to Markdown with a given, like you can write your own syntax, how to parse it, basically. And that also goes straight into Obsidian. It also works for YouTube videos, articles, documents, whatever. You can annotate PDFs, everything. So what I do is everything I read online, I annotate it, and it goes straight into Obsidian, and then I make a distilled note of it. So my whole workflow basically revolves around getting as much information and media I consume into Obsidian to manage it there. Yeah, that's about it. Those were my tools.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually but that's the last one is really cool.
Yeah, it's
I really
wonderful.
like that idea.
It's
Yeah,
super
I'm
good.
honestly like I'm getting more and more hyped about Obsidian. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I'll definitely look into that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'll quickly go through my last one. Also very basic, but I've been using this since let me think 2014, I think
Oh
2014 or
shit,
2015.
that's quite a while.
Yeah, like it's Trello.
A
A lot of
classic.
people might know this, others might not. So like just to quickly explain to you, basically, what this is, it's also some kind of a task management tool. It's very commonly used for like projects. So what you can do is you have it's called like you have your cards. You give it a title. For example, let's call it in this case to-dos. And under this card, you can like create. Well, no, it's not called cards. It's called tables. And under every table, you can create new cards, and you can write down, for example, all your to-dos. You'll have another table called done, and each to-do you can move into done. Now, obviously, this is like by far the easiest way of using it. It's much smarter to actually categorize all your to-dos into different tables. All of those tables can be seen on one page. So, for example, we used it for our podcast. For every podcast, we have, for example, one table for our podcast. We have one table that is just about next recording, and then we have all of the information that is needed under the next recording. Like it doesn't even have to be to dos. It's basically a gathering of both information and to dos, and it's perfect to use it honestly both in teams and in a work that you do by yourself. For example, like in any project, you can give tags to your cards. So like I don't know, you can categorize it into like what kind of a to do it would be. For example, in kind of in a web development project, you can like have like your tasks that are just about design, one that's just about like front end development, one that's just about back end development, one that's just about deployment.
You can kind of imagine it as a pin board where you pin on flashcards, basically.
Yes, yeah, that's a good description. The first time I used it, it was actually also for an app that I developed with a few friends, no, actually it was two friends of mine, and which by the way was horrible. It was an Android app that was like a little game. It was called Tap and Fun, and I don't even think that it's available anymore. We would have to update it. You just had basically like little points would show up on the screen, and you had to tap on them before they would basically what was it?
Disappear?
Yeah, I don't know, disappear or something. Yeah, I don't even remember. But anyways, it was great because we had like all of these tables and all of these boards, and that's how we structured all of the things that needed to be done, all of the information. It has like a little chat that you can use for each card, so that everybody can like give some input, and it's perfect for project management, and it's been an absolute lifesaver for me.
Mm-hmm.
And also like something I use both for personal projects. I use it by myself, or I use it with others in teams for
Yeah, it's a really good
projects.
tool.
I use it for uni, and it's honestly like especially when it comes to like especially when it comes to project work in like a company, there's a good chance that you will use it there too. And I guess this concludes our absolute well, some of the favorite tools. I guess like the list could go on and on, but like these
Yeah.
are, at least on my behalf, the most used on my in my everyday life. Um, my favorite definitely has to be things, which I've already said because I use that a ton. But all of these, I can highly suggest them to everybody. I mean, they're always like good alternatives, but I personally like these four a lot, or like three plus, any text editor. um, and I really hope this was informative for like some of the people that listen to this. I guess a lot of since like some of these were like quite common,
Yeah.
some of these, a lot of people like didn't hear these for the first time. If you or like if you did hear them for the first time, I can highly suggest you to try them out
Yeah,
yourself.
just try them out and see if you like them.
Absolutely, we'll definitely link everything in the notes and in the show notes. And I guess that's it for this time. Thank you for listening, and talk to you later.
Bye bye.